Thank you all for coming. This is Cheap Shot News. I am Zach. I do this bit every single week on Tuesdays to about 5 people. So thank you very much to the 5 people who are showing up. I very much appreciate it. Right now it looks like we have Logan, Soup, Drew. Thank you guys for joining. I'm really excited about the stuff we have to talk about today. So, one thing keeps happening to me. I do my show, I feel good about it, and then I wrap up right around 8 p.m. doing Facebook, doing my post-production, just checking around, doing some stuff, and then it shows up a major news story that I can now not talk about until another week because it just came out literally during the show or almost immediately after the show. So this has happened like 3 or 4 times now in the 20 plus episodes that I've done, and this week was a big one. So, Warner Brothers recently announced that they are thinking, well, more than thinking, I should say, they're in kind of the very early stages of doing some more Matrix movies. So, Hollywood Reporter came out, like I said, literally around, 9:30, 10 p.m. last Tuesday, that this was happening. And the original article said something along the lines of reboot. Now, that's not a great way to phrase it, because it's not a reboot. The writer, I believe his name's Zach Penn, who's penning the script, puns, is doing it. So he's gonna write, so they already have a writer on board, and he said this is not a reboot, you can't reboot The Matrix. I completely agree with that. How do you remake one of the greatest movies of all time? So, what they're looking at doing is there's really no information outside of that at this point in time, but the speculation has become now, is it prequels or sequels? And different things like that. Now, I think Warner is looking at this the way that kind of Disney is looking at Star Wars and the Marvel universe and things like that, of we have this huge, massive universe of hundreds of years of stories and awesomeness that we can pull from and make this a very large extended universe. So why don't we do that? So there could be a lot of things happening here. I'm not really for sequels because the third movie's the climax. I mean, Neo's the one. He has ended the robots' control and tyranny over humanity. So it's done. It's over. So, I mean, there's other things you could probably do from there, but is it really worth it? I don't think so. So, I think you look sequels. And they've actually already speculated this. Michael B. Jordan is quote-unquote attached. It's so early on, it's hard to tell, but they're interested. So, obviously, because Michael B. Jordan is black, and so was Lawrence Fishburne, who played Morpheus, that Michael B. Jordan must obviously be, a younger Morpheus. That's racist, whoever wrote that article. I actually didn't. I just saw that speculation. I didn't actually read the articles, but I just think if you're basing it off of Michael B. Jordan being the character, let's tone it back a little bit. There can be more than one black character in a movie. I know. Even horror movies, there can be more than one black character. It's all right. So, how do you guys feel about that? Would you be interested in seeing more Matrix movies? I would be very interested in seeing more Matrix movies, as long as, again, you don't reboot them. And I feel like I'm contradicting myself a little bit, because in the past, I have talked about very much about, like, Hollywood needs to do original stuff. And I'm all for original stuff, but at the same time, I like really in-depth, expanded universes, and there's so much you could do. Like, even Morpheus says in the first Matrix, they don't know how long or what year it is, because it's been hundreds of years. Who would like to see the robots blacking out the sun, or the humans, I guess, blacking out the sun, because the robot survived on solar power at the time? I think that would be cool. Mark, Soup, I keep calling you Mark. It's because your name's Mark on the stupid Facebook thing. Soup says no. Darren says no. Anybody else? I say yes. It's my show. You guys can suck it. Make your own show if you want to talk about how they shouldn't do any more Matrix. Ha! So, anyways, moving on. I think it's a decent idea. It's a money-making idea. People are going to go out in droves to see that movie. So, next topic is one that I'm also very interested in. Sony pretty much released out of the blue on kind of a whim that they've released a date for October of next year for a Venom movie. Now, it was interesting because nothing really was said about a Venom movie before that. I mean, there was some speculation. I keep track of this stuff, obviously, because again, YouTube and doing recordings and such. But I mean, I'd heard some rough interest about it, but nothing concrete ever came about it. They're like, yeah, we'd like to do a standalone Venom movie, just kind of focusing on him and everything like that. But it never really went anywhere from that. And then boom, Sony puts it on the calendar. So it's interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Is one, what Venom are we going to get? Are we going to get another origin story, or are we going to get a newer version of Venom? Now, I'll go into that in a second. And two, you're releasing this really close, just over a year within a Spider-Man movie. So that seems to me that even though it's called Venom, I think a lot of people speculated that Peter Parker would have a very big hand in the movie. Well, I don't know how much he's going to be. I would be very willing to bet that he's going to show up. I just don't know how much he's going to be in it. Because like I said, they're pushing it pretty close. So I don't think he's going to be, he might be a main character, but I definitely don't think he's going to be the focus of the movie. So I think it will be heavily focused on the character, whether it be Brock, I can't remember his last name. Somebody give me the name of Venom's original host. That's not Spider-Man. The actual character of Venom. It's Brock. Is his last name Brock? I don't know. Somebody give it to me. Anyways, moving on. So that's one interest of topic. It's not Brock Lesnar. Although that would be cool. I mean, that would be a ridiculous Venom. I mean, Venom's already fairly stacked. You put Brock Lesnar into that situation, that would make it even more interesting. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys want to see another kind of origin story of Venom, or do you want a new version of Venom? If you're not familiar with that, Venom attaches himself to Flash Thompson, and I think kind of the current role, and Flash becomes a superhero with the powers of the symbiote. So basically, he's kind of gun wielding, but he keeps it under control as long as he doesn't, as long as he takes off the Venom suit once every 12 hours or something like that. So that would be really cool to see him and like a superhuman, but I think we need the backstory first. As much as I don't like seeing multiple renditions of an origin story, I do think we need to see the backstory in this specific situation to then move forward into maybe future movies where the Venom symbiote attaches itself to other people and maybe does good. So what I really want is an R-rated Carnage movie. That's what I really want. So just throwing that out there, Sony. All right, continuing on with topics. Netflix is maintaining its media juggernaut standard with adding another big movie to its future repertoire and releases. So it was recently announced that there was a bidding war that Netflix won for a movie called War Party that is going to be based on the real events of Navy SEALs. And other than that, we don't have a lot of information. I would assume it's going to be action-oriented with these real events taking place in the field, but it also might have some like home representation of the struggle with that kind of thing, of coming back from war. Now, here's the big sellers. Tom Hardy's going to star, and then Ridley Scott is going to produce with a director, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. But, I mean, those two are huge for me. I mean, I'll basically watch anything with Tom Hardy, and Ridley Scott, although he seems to be producing pretty much everything these days. I mean, he's got his hands in, obviously, Alien, Blade Runner later in the year, and doing this, and there's probably a couple other things that I'm not even thinking of that he's doing in the next few years. So, excited about that. I mean, we're in the golden age of content for television and movies. So, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, like I said, we're maybe not getting the most original movie content recently, but it's the easiest it's been to access than any other time. So that's awesome. I'm super happy that Netflix keeps doing these because that's big movies that I will get immediately when they come out. Speaking of which, I didn't even remember this. For anyone who was wondering, I'm pretty sure Dave Chappelle's 2 comedy specials just came out on Netflix today. So I know what I'm doing after I wrap this up. Watching me some Dave Chappelle. That guy's hilarious. So, final topic, unless you guys want to talk about War Party more. Yes, Drew, War Party was a movie made in 1988, but it can be other things than that. I'm pretty sure there's been several other movies that have been titled the same thing as movies that came before them. Anyways, moving on. So, Chris Evans, he is most well known as Captain America. He's done several other indie movies. Actually, a very good actor if you've ever watched some of his more lesser known indie movies. It's surprising, actually. He is a very good actor. He has hinted in a recent Esquire interview, and I didn't read through the interview. I read an article based on the interview because I'm not really into Esquire. Sorry. In a recent interview with Esquire, he says that, well, I shouldn't say he says. He hints at that Captain America, he could be done with Captain America after the Infinity War movies. So those 2 movies are being filmed back to get back because they're basically one movie and they're going to be split up a year apart into 2. So he basically just mentions in the interview that the physical toll is taking its toll on him. So I mean, it's harder and harder. He's 35 now to stay in shape, to stay active like that. Understandable. He didn't go into that much detail. It's just something that he hinted at. I'll link below if you want to read more specifics on there. And he also basically says that, you know, after the Infinity War movies, my contract's up. So, contract's up. I mean, that's that. That being said, just like in sports, movies can change. Things can go. Contracts can be extended. More money can be thrown at people. As much as I'd be fine with him ending that. I mean, he's been a great Captain America, and he's done well in these roles. I wouldn't be bothered if he stepped down. I mean, you can't do it forever. Most people aren't Hugh Jackman in that regard. So it wouldn't bother me if he stepped aside. I mean, I would probably wait to recast it for a while if that was the case. But then again, I'm going to say money talks. I mean, Disney has way more money than I think they know what to deal with. So I'm pretty sure they could just throw as much money as they want at him. I would be, if I were a betting man saying right now, I would say that he is probably going to beat, after Infinity War, he's probably on for another 1 to 2 movies. That's just me. All right. So, anyways, final topic. Batman. Is it doomed to fail? So after we finally got a lockdown on a director, Matt Reeves, after I flip-flopped on that for about 3 weeks, we did get him. Matt Reeves is the director now. It's come out that Matt is basically going to be stuck in promoting the War of the Planet of the Apes movie well into this year, you know, and so someone from Hollywood Reporter, a writer from Hollywood Reporter, speculated that they don't think the Batman movie is even going to go into production until early 2018. Now, that seems a little late for me because I think War of the Planet of the Apes comes out in like June or July or something like that. So unless movie promotion goes way beyond theater releases, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I would say, you know, I'm not an expert or anything, but it wouldn't surprise me if it came out at the end, or not came out, started production at the end of the year. That being said, because of this, we're probably not going to see it until 2019. I think a lot of people were hoping that we're going to see it in 2018. That is not going to happen, as what it sounds like. So, is it doomed to fail? Soup, I think you're commenting on me asking that question. No. I don't think it is either, but it really depends on, quote unquote, what you determine fail means. Does fail mean it's not going to happen? It's going to happen. Now, is it going to happen with Ben Affleck? I would be willing to bet a high percentage that it would. But if it doesn't, but it's still made, is that a failure? Yes/no? I don't know. To me, it would be. If they recast and Ben Affleck didn't play Batman, that would be a big shot in the arm for me. I definitely want to see Ben Affleck play Batman. I would still probably go see it because I'm a nerd, but I would be a little disappointed. You know, critically, if it critically gets panned again and it gets, you know, below a 50% on Rotten Tomato, is that a fail? I mean, it really depends on what you see here. Because, I mean, if it gets made and does poorly, I still consider that a fail. So, I mean, these changes to production could mean a lot of different things. You could look at it one way and go, say, it doesn't seem like anything's on track. Everything has been up in the air since they've begun to produce this. You know, Batman was supposed to do it, or Batman. Well, he is Batman. Ben Affleck was supposed to do it. He stepped down. There have been writing changes. There's been speculation on whether or not they're going to completely redo the script. They got Matt Reeves, and then he dropped out, and then they got him back, and now we thought we were going to start production pretty much right away, but now we're not. So this movie is just, nothing's ever going to go right for it, and it's going to be a critical failure whether it gets made or not. You could take that route. Or you could take the route of, no, it took them a while to get in place what they wanted to get in place, but now they have the people that they want, and now they're taking their time on it. They're not rushing it. One of my major issues with DC and Warner Brothers to this point in time with the DC movie universe is that they felt rushed, especially Justice League. Justice League, we got a trailer a year and a half before the movie is even going to be released, and not even a teaser trailer. It was like a full-length trailer. Like, to me, people are like, oh, production's going well. To me, that is like you rush through production and you put it out because you want people to get excited about it, and you want to tease it for a year and a half because you have nothing else going on. So I wasn't happy about that, actually. Like, it was cool that I got to see that, but it's like a year and a half is way too early. That being said, like I said, I tend to look at it more of, okay, they chased after Matt Reeves. They finally got him. You know, maybe it was the best decision for Ben Affleck to not direct because, I mean, it's an intensive role that he wants to put his whole heart into. I'm starting very much to not believe in the scenario that Ben Affleck is not interested in doing Batman anymore. I think there was some frustration with them, different things, but I generally think that he wants to do it. And so it was a good thing for him to step down. And now they're going to take their time with production to make sure they put out a legitimately good movie. So I think that's big. I mean, you're competing against some of the greatest superhero movies all time with Christopher Nolan's Batman. So, I mean, if you don't come out somewhere in that ballpark, I'm not saying you have to be that good, but you need to be in that ballpark, I think, for a lot of people to consider you successful. So, that was a really long rant, and I'm happy you guys stuck it out for me. DQ says it's a failure if it sucks, the end. I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment, but I think a lot of people are going to feel that way, regardless of if it gets made, whatever. If it sucks, failure, you know. So, anyways, really long rant. Again, happy you stuck out for that. Something I'm really passionate about is the Batman. So, whether or not Joker's in it or not, I didn't love Heath Ledger's Joker. That is blasphemy. I didn't love Jared Leto's Joker. Heath Ledger's Joker is one of the greatest villains of all time that we've ever seen on camera. Wow. That was a big no-no on my end. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to stop talking about Batman for a second. Let me know what you guys think. You know, you can message me all week if you want about different topics you want me to talk about. Anybody who is watching. Actually, that sounds like fun. Message me. I want to see what you guys want me to talk about. You know, if I'm not interested, sorry, I'm not going to talk about it. But anyways, that seems cool. So message me on Facebook. That's going to wrap it up for me. You can obviously check me out on Facebook every week. I do this live around 7:30. Actually, I try to keep it at 7:30 on the dot. Go about 20 minutes or so. And then you can also subscribe to YouTube if you're following on YouTube. Like and subscribe at the bottom if you like it all, whatever you're hearing. I'd very much appreciate it. And even if you're watching on Facebook, go to YouTube, find me Cheap Shot Cinema on YouTube, and like and subscribe. Then you don't necessarily need to watch me live. You can also follow me on Twitter at Cheap Shot Cinema. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Zach, and you guys have a great day or evening or whatever you're watching this at. Bye.